It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Ace, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Welcome to The Real Word Season 7, Episode 20. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that's helped us to get this far so far. Shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that supported. Shout out to everybody that came out live for our last Youth Day of the year, our last sermon of the year. Shout out to Mercedes Narcisse, City Councilwoman of District 46. She had came through and supported. She had came to our youth service, so shout out to her. Shout out to everybody that's been helping the community so far. I'm your host, Rick. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
I'm ready to know it's the one and only AI in the building. I am your Instagram. East Irving 11. Ain't no 11. I got 2 bottles of water, cuz. AD, bro, that ain't me. Oh yeah, you know, watch out for the new sweaters. Zero Enterprise. You know, I got a couple flavors coming in.
Yeah. Alright, I'm here with 2 special guests, 2 special reoccurring guests. Introduce yourself.
You guys already know who I am. It's AJ. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, even Twitter under AJ Rom. Glad to be here.
Alright.
Everywhere, right? That's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be everywhere.
Alright, introduce yourself.
Peppy Simon.
Everywhere.
Peppy here with Promise to Greatness. You can find me on Instagram, Promise to Greatness, Facebook, Promise to Greatness.
Alright. So we thank you all for joining here today. And one thing that we can say is we got a toy drive coming up on this Saturday in the South Bronx. So you want to tell them more about the toy drive?
It's at 1155 Cromwell Ave in the South Bronx. It's at PS. What is it?
Sure.
65. I'm not really sure, but that is the exact address.
It's a school.
It's a school, yes. It's from K to kindergarten, if I'm not mistaken. Please donate. And I'm thinking, because we don't even have like a drop off or anything like that.
No, you could donate to the GoFundMe.
Right.
Just put in The Real Word Ministries Inc. and GoFundMe, or you could donate directly to the Cashapp $ The Real Word Inc. That's $ The Real Word Inc. Or you could go on our website. That's www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org, and click the donate button if you want to donate. So we always doing things in the community to help those in need and to also help those that are suffering. That's one of the things that I preached on Saturday, and I want to get you guys' take on it. From the book of Matthew, that's the 25th chapter. There's 3 different parables, but the very last one towards the end, it talks about servitude, where Christ comes and he divides the people, the goats and the sheep. Basically, compare them to how the animals are. Like, we know that goats are hard-headed. If you put a goat in a pen, it's most likely trying to jump out. The goat's nature is a stubborn one. And we look at the sheep. The sheep is more of, like, we could say the more domesticated animal, where it follows. It has a herd mentality, where, like, if there's a certain leader within the herd, it sticks to the herd and it follows that leader. That's how sheep are easy to keep in a group. If you see the shepherd, all the sheep follow the shepherd. That's where the analogy comes from with Christ. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So it also says that when Christ is talking to the people, he says that you are good servant, because when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. When I was homeless, you gave me a place to live. When I was in jail, like, you came to visit me. When I was sick, you helped nurse me. And they're like, we wasn't there to do those things for you. And he's saying, wherever you did that to the less of me, to whoever was in need, then you did it for me. And the ones that didn't do it for him, like, he cursed them. He's like, I curse you because you didn't do it for the less of us. And we see that in church a lot. And it kind of hit them in a sense that it made them realize that their ministry was only within the four walls and not outside. Like, us doing ministry and doing charitable work outside. Like, why do you think for certain people it's easier for them to just sit inside and just talk about it than to actually go outside and do the work? Who would like to start?
I mean, I personally think it's easier because it's just like, the concept of, talking is cheap. Because we all got a mouth. We can all sit here and say, I'm going to do this, I'm doing that, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. But, then when we sit here and blah, all right, you said all of this, now let's see the results. And then, when it's time to show the results, a lot of people follow. So it's really that concept. Like, anybody could go up on the stage and talk this, that, and the third. But, when tough times show people's true skin colors or what they really about. Whether, or you just sit here just talking just to pick up a check, or you sitting here talking because you really actually gonna go out there and put in work. And they got exposed. They got exposed as talkers, like, because outside of people that SDA, nobody know what the hell an SDA is, to be honest. Like, so that's how I really look at it. Like, they just got exposed. Like, talk is cheap, cause we all could talk, but not everybody could back all those talkings up.
You were gonna say something, Peppy. What are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say within a ministry, it's simpler because you assume that everyone that comes to this parish or to this place of worship, that they're on the same page, right? So when you're doing it outside the ministry, it's a little bit more difficult because we're now reaching people who may not even know where to start, may not even know, if there's any issues, or if they do realize. It's just a little. It's just different because it doesn't necessarily mean that was that person's in their mind. It doesn't mean that this person is ready for change outside of ministry or looking for some sort of belonging. Because it's like I feel like there's all type of people who worship and all type of people who follow different ways. Some people go into a place of worship, right? And some people do it other ways, like doing work within the community. And I feel like the work outside in the community is absolutely more difficult than inside the ministry. Yeah, because outside the ministry, outside in the community, we're trying to reach people that may not necessarily want change. We're planting seeds. We're planting seeds because we can't make people do anything different. We can just plant seeds for when they're ready. In the ministry, those people we're assuming is ready for whatever change that they're right. I'm just saying though, because Ricard asks, like, is it easier, right? Because you have the goat that's stubborn, you have a whole bunch, and you're talking about people. Like you put it in the analogy of I'm just saying you have a whole bunch of different people, whether they're followers, whether they're stubborn, whether they're you have a whole different type of mindset. And within the ministry, you might find more of a similar mindset. Not saying we're all thinking the same, but I'm saying similar because we're all here for the same reason, to worship, right? Outside of the ministry, we don't know who's really following in that way, Okay. Like, we don't know who's really. Some people are not, don't say, I don't believe in God, or they believe in Allah, they believe in this, that. So it's different because in the ministry we're all worshiping that same God in this place. right? Outside of that ministry or that place of worship, we don't know who you worship. You know, I don't know who you worship or how you do that. So it's difficult because you don't want to offend anyone, right? You don't want to assume anything. So I think it's a little bit more difficult when you're doing it in the community as opposed to, coming to a place where everybody is supposedly doing the same. We're here for the same reason.
Yeah.
Right?
But they ain't really doing nothing at all.
I mean, you start looking at it, and I think it's more of like a comfort zone type of thing, because people are more comfortable when they're doing it amongst people, like you said, share a similar faith, that you know who you're talking to, know who your audience is, versus like you go out, and it's especially nowadays that we live in, like, let's face it, people outside are more jaded towards religion. If they're not seeing, the miracles that we speak of and all the good that's, God has done, like right now in front of them, it's like, yo, but how that's gonna help me feed my family now, So it's like, it's a little different trying to, be fishermen of men compared to how it was back in the day. Like, so you could try to already speak to people that's like already believers, or try to do things with people that's already believers versus people that's outside. Like, what you could do is like you said, you could still do charity stuff and donations, but for a lot of people, that's where stuff stopped, because even when we do stuff like, donate book bags and turkeys and stuff like that, we don't really get new members, even though that's like, that's not like the end all be all. We still doing a good thing, but we don't really get new members or new believers and stuff like that. It's just that we doing a good thing for the community, and they appreciate it, but then they go about their business, which is cool too. But that's just what it is right now. So that's why it's a little harder to do it out there, because it's like, what's the end goal really? Like, it's just to do good things and that's it, or doing good things and we trying to save people too, like, and it gets hard when that mission is always the hardest mission, because people who got their own stuff going on, or maybe some people feel scarred, or maybe some people feel like that they just not trying to hear that right now. So that's part of it too that make it hard.
Right now, they probably ain't trying to hear that.
That's a fact.
Most people right now, they just want to see the results. That's all they want to see.
Right. And which, I'm sorry, I just got to bring Promise Greatness into this, because I'm sorry, because that's the whole thing. The mindset, right? Because the mindset matters. I'm so sorry. Because this is what we're trying to do, and we're trying to do it in an innovative way, right? Without putting a higher power into it. But that's really what it is, right? Your mindset needs to be ready for whatever it is that you're working towards, whatever change, whatever it is. So and just to add to what you're saying, because you're saying, it's difficult because people are visual. They want to see, and hence why the poster that I created, right? Because I'm like creating this, but I'm okay, and I'm comfortable with sharing. Look, with the right mindset, you can change anything. So you can twist it to, having faith, or have that higher power, however you want to twist it. But it doesn't, I'm not saying God. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, your mindset, if it's focused on the higher power of God or whoever you believe in, right, is going to keep you on that path of consistency for change. Right? So I agree with you. Yes, it is difficult, but what are we doing? What is the innovative things or ways that we're trying to, implement to actually bring the community together? And that's why people focus on youth so much right now. Why? Because they're sponges, right? They need a little guidance, a little support. It's a little different. And then create them to be leaders and ask the people who are in their lives questions to hold them accountable. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I enjoy it because it's like you're going to get people who are ready, right? Sometimes when you're in the ministry or you're in the place of worship, like you said, it could be a place of just comfort and just familiarism, or people that you're used to, to kind of come and be with. When you're out there, it's different, because now you have to sell yourself, right? And make this person believe in you to even come to come visit whatever it is that you're doing, to purchase your brand, You know what I mean? They gotta want to support you first, right? Because there's something that you spoke into them that's like, wow, I identify with you. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because you have all these different people, like you said, the sheep, so we're trying to pull the leaders out to assist with this, because it's tough out here. It's tough out here because the way that, we tend to not realize the way we do things, we're modeling in the community. So when we're doing this ministry, we're modeling, right? But as parents, we're modeling. Big brother, you're modeling. You guys are brothers, that. I'm an older sibling. We're modeling, and then the thing, we need to pay attention on how we're modeling, right? How are we dealing with issues? Right? Am I screaming at you? Am I putting my hands on you in front of the youth? Right? Because we're teaching them how to deal with.
Or you teaching them how to be aggressive.
Right. And so now we have all these problems that we were trying to undo. And the way to undo them is by setting examples and doing the work.
Yeah. I think both your points are valid, and I think it's two good points that you guys both brought up. You bringing up the aspect of when you in church, everyone has the same mindset. I guess that's what religion is. Like, everybody agrees on that one thing, and they all practicing that together. And they do end up in a comfortable place where they feel like, okay, it's just enough. And I could give you an example of that. For the first few years of The Real Word, we held our events at my home church. And we would say that it's for the community, and we're using the building since it's in the community to help the community. But in the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes, most stuff be gone, and it'll be the church members that took it. So technically, they're part of the community. We're in the community. Right. But what about the people that don't go to church?
Yeah.
So that goes to AJ's point, where it's like, okay, how do we minister to these people? And I had a friend, like, shout out to Holland, like, he brought this up to me plenty of times. He said, yeah, you're giving these people this stuff for right now, but what are you giving them in the long term? Like, what's the spiritual bread that you're giving them? And he was right in a sense, but for me, it's like while handing out stuff for them, like, he came up with the idea of, like, okay, maybe I can hand them out like a pamphlet, like with things on it, or maybe I can hand them out a Bible. But with me, it's like, all I do is preach in church. You feel me? So it's like, why would I preach in church and preach on the streets? Like, I'd rather just give them the actual physical bread than the spiritual bread on the street. But I could take a page out of Christ's book where, like, I give them the physical, then give them the spiritual. Like, feed them the physical, then, okay, now they're more at ease, and then give them the spiritual. But that's something that we could improve on by, when we do these drives, like, to get the people's contact information.
And I was going to go there. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, to create a list and stuff like that. So then, like, we create a network, and we could just venture out to them. But I think the biggest aspect is because majority of the people that need help are in low, impoverished neighborhoods, and usually those neighborhoods are in the inner city, and there's high crime. They're quote-unquote dangerous, the hood, the ghetto. Some people in church, like, they have this bourgeoisie attitude. Some of them, they come to church with their best clothes, like a fashion show. They have this hierarchy within church, depending on what family you come from, or what job you in, or what position you hold. So they focus too much on that at times, and I think that's what distracts them from actually going outside. And in a sense, you gotta humble yourself to go outside and then actually go and feed someone that's on drugs, or someone that's homeless, and some people, like, they're just not ready for that. Like, we see a lot of pastors, they don't do that.
I mean, that's what it goes to show, man, told is cheap.
Right. And you brought up some things and this is why it's important for the innovation piece of being able to change with times, because you're absolutely correct. What is the end result when we do these ministry things? How are we honestly really implementing change, right? And so I think I mentioned to you one time that the whole taking names, and I'm going to do that actually in the toy drive. I'm going to have people with clipboards getting names, numbers, and emails. I'm very, very serious right now. Because then we can follow up, right? Ask questions. What is it that you need right? Like, because sometimes, I'm an example of it. I wasn't always like this. I started to somewhere, you know, from trauma to, and still being a single mom. It's like, in order to get to, because there's different levels to everything.
Yeah.
Right? So
levels to this. There's levels in this.
Right.
Everybody on the, you know, same.
Right. So it's like, okay, so what do you need to get to the next level for yourself? Because let me tell you, public assistance, let's keep it buck. Any type of help, you have to basically be like
on a 200% poverty level.
Really, and the thing is, that's not what we need, right? I'm going to speak for me.
That's just really sad
at the time,
really.
Right? And the thing is, it's like, okay,
slavery.
You're telling me to get on my feet, to do this, and all I need is a little bit of help. You're telling me I make too much money when it's not even really a lot of money for my family size.
It really does.
Okay?
Just enough to get
all I'm saying is I need a little something so I can
But you got a job, just over broke.
Right. But the thing is, in order for you to get to, it's like how we're doing this. Yes, we're doing this because we genuinely care. I'm going to speak for me. I know I genuinely care and I really want to make an impact in the community. But at the same time, I need to become financially stable in a way where I can give. If I don't have, I can't give you. Right? So it's like, I agree. Because it's not like people really don't want to do things. It's just sometimes it's like, if I do this, then they're going to cut this, they're going to cut that, and then what? And then there might be other situations that play. They don't have no GED, they don't have no, you know, so how am I really going to get a job that's really going to pay me? So all these things, and then so it's now like
unemployment is a
right.
They tell you, if you work this amount of hours, you're not getting this money, and then the money they give you, you're like, yo, this is not even worth it.
Right. And then the thing is, it's like our own, even nobody is perfect, right? And some of us tend to act like we forget that. And so when our family members or friends hurt us, right?
I tell you that.
We want to hold whatever they did against them, and so we don't want to give them that support anymore because you done, you know, you done hurt me over here, or you done, you know, right? So and it shouldn't be that way, because really, and this is, we are doing ministry work just in different ways. We're not using the words of the Bible when we're out there. We're actually being innovative as far as saying, you know, doing with the action, and also finding out, because not just turning your back away, right? Teaching people or modeling, because you got to model people of not just knowing how to adjust how we deal with each other based on who is in front of us at the time. You know what I mean? Because everyone is deserving on growth and change, especially if you have somebody who's supporting you and holding you accountable. Because it's easy to slip into your old behaviors. It's easy because it's familiar. You know what I mean?
Familiarity brings content.
Right.
Especially that's around it.
So yes, we have to be creative. We need to be creative. That's how we're gonna reach the, like, yes, I'm gonna do that. Take those numbers and stuff and follow up. I don't mind doing that. How you doing? How's everything? And let me tell you something. The job I do, there was during the pandemic, just so I can kind of bring this out there, we were checking in with those that were released into the program, right? And I'm telling you, you would get like, oh, thank you for checking up on me. Even a friend who texts you good morning just on GP, how you doing? Or something. Even you know, even me, like when somebody texts you good morning just on GP, like, yo, you know, I hope have a blessed day, whatever they said, you're like, oh, the person took 2 seconds out of their life to make you feel, you know, important. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to learn how to model what that looks like, and that's why everybody starts with the youth, because we want to model with the youth what articulating the way we feel to minimize aggression out here. You know, everybody's being so aggressive and wanting to be violent. Everything is, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna this, and it's like,
it's because the price is going up.
And it's like, no matter, at the end of the day, listen, at the end of the day, I feel like everything in this world is business, right?
Yeah, of course.
It really is.
And
Really? I mean, we do live in a capitalism society, right?
so and everybody should want everyone to eat. Now, if we're all dialoguing and actually trying to figure out how it best can suit all of us at this table, it would be better and actually keep your. But people get greedy. Again, back to the sheep and the goat, and those are all the different people. So then it's like, that's why I myself have to be honest and model. I'm gonna keep it above, because then it's a process of elimination. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. So when you're ready, I'm still gonna always be here. You know what I mean? When you're ready, but I'm not gonna force, because I'm gonna work with people who are ready. I'm gonna continue to plant the seed, because that's what we're going to do, continue to plant the seed, and when you're ready, you're going to know where to find that resource you need to get the ball started. That's why Promise of Greatness is very important to me right now. Building that foster home model. You know, I got to throw that in there. I'm sorry.
No, of course.
She about to have a big foster home.
Yes, foster home model, integrating these children into my life, making them feel belonged.
She going down
Right?
the kids too.
I don't know about adopting, because I'm sure the family member want them back. But the thing is, I want to be able to be a support for them and their family and their families. Because now you're dealing with the adults that's in these youths' lives also. You know what I mean? And you're modeling on the holistic approach, spiritual, physical, mental. You're talking about all of that. You know, because you can't do one thing at a time.
One thing I can say now is that, like, especially when we had the event out in the Bronx, and the officials came, and I can say that the officials that look like us, the black and brown, I can say that they're more involved. For a long time, it was individuals that did not look like us. And I'll say shout out to the ladies, because a lot of black women are holding positions now,
Yes.
Because I don't see as much black men, but more black women are being elected into certain offices, and
Congratulations.
they're actually doing the work. It's like they're not easily selling out like the males used to do, I could say. And the fact that, that they're actually humble, they're actually meeting with people, they're actually coming out and supporting people in the community, especially community leaders, even though it's a double-edged sword, because, they're kind of using you because you have influence in the community, but at the same time, like, they helping the cause as well. So, as one hand washes the other and both washes the face.
Right.
So what you guys think? Because, I would say we have, 2 more episodes till the year ends, or maybe 1 or 2. So I remember at the beginning of this year, a couple of us, we met by you, matter of fact, and we had a pledge with one another. Like, we basically spoke about what we was gonna do for the year, and the
New Year's resolution.
Yeah, the New Year's resolution, and we spoke about what we're gonna do. And we spoke about like the different things that we was gonna do for the year, and a lot of things that we envisioned or we pictured in our heads, like, we did get them accomplished more or less. There's some things that we didn't get to do, but at the same time, like, I feel like the fact that we were doing things even in the middle of the pandemic and still giving back to the community, it did inspire other individuals. But I can say that there's still people that's like in a stuck mindset. Like, I feel like right now, a lot of people are in a mindset where it's like they're in survival mode, and it's transitioned into violence, in the sense that, I don't know if you guys seen it, but like the deputy commissioner of the police in Los Angeles, he said, don't come over here, it's not safe over here.
Nah, really not, bro. LA is really not safe right now, because a lot of people getting bodied.
So what you guys think about that, like about the current climate? Because we're trying to help, but some people are like on purge, like they're like, yo, I gotta eat, so it's whatever, which way I gotta do.
It's kind of like that, bro, because a lot of people money ran out. Yeah, they was giving out all this money, but on top of, yes, the government was giving out all the money, but they hit us with, all right, we gave y'all all this money because we basically rising prices up for everything. You can see the examples like gas. You see the little stores that have the dollar on them, they might as well just switch their name, because this ain't no dollar store no more. And then like on top of there's people where they had PPPs or whatever, Some gotta pay it back, some don't. And you know, a lot of people blew their money because I could give it one example. Like
My PVP got forgiven.
no, but a lot of people really got blow because you know some people they didn't take advantage. Because to me, I looked at COVID like the opportunity to take advantage. You know, because when there's a disaster, you know, most things prices are low. For example, like stocks are, you know, cheap, so you could just buy them there, and then when the economy go back up, then you know all that money that the amount of stocks that you bought that was cheap, you know, it could accumulate to way bigger funds. But you know, a lot of people they didn't view it like that. They just like, oh my goodness.
It was a crash the other day. Like I think what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Like last week. Both. It was like
Thanksgiving
and last
like Bitcoin for like 20,000. Something crazy.
It was like 45,000.
Bro, I lost like 3,000 one day. I was like,
That's how it is with the stock market, though. You know, you take your chances.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't pull out, it could bounce back after time. Like it usually does. But
well, yeah, those are examples. Like, and then most people, you know, the hood, you know, everybody was having these, you know, party buses, mad bus. So you know, a lot of people money ran out. It was like, hey, look, those stores is open. Okay, we can spend money because everything goes. We'll be alright. But you see now, the prices rise up. So you know. A lot of people ain't crying. They didn't really take advantage of the opportunity.
they sold their chains.
Yeah, they sold their chains. You know, a lot of people they took their chains and they went right back to the Jews like, yo, take it. We can't handle it. But you know,
everything's a shortage now. Like
that's what people don't understand. Like when tough time comes, you're supposed to take advantage of the opportunities of things cheap. Cause prices like this is not gonna come around all the time.
Chaos is a ladder.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Because if you took advantage, then you know you wouldn't be in a situation now. Because I could say like the government really did try to help you. Because if they give you all this money, like let's say if you're a hustler, they give you a $150K loan, and you know how to flip your money, then that's her advantage for you.
Yeah, that's an easy meal right there.
Exactly, but if you're a person you don't know how to manage money, then all that money is going to go to zero soon.
Yeah,
so
because the SBA they give you 10 years to pay it off.
Exactly, 10 years. That's like a person that's a hustler, 150K loan for 10 years. That's a finesse. That's a finesse. Because you like, yo, I could be a millionaire before that.
But the one thing that a lot of people they look over is the transfer of wealth that happened during COVID, where now it's like the 1% have 75 or 80% of the wealth now. Yeah, crazy number.
They took mad PPPs and all that. So
it basically means a lot of people went poor because a lot of people lost their jobs. Mm-hmm. They said that 1 out of every 100 American over the age of 40 died during COVID. I seen that stat like just now, like maybe like an hour ago before I came here, and they said that it's people, I think 50 and up. They said 50 and up. They said those is the highest vaccinated group of people, but yet like 1 out of 100 is dying. Like think about that. That's like if you in a church, it's like every 100 one person died. Every 100 one person died. Crazy. So like, and then they say on top of that, like we saw how Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all those guys like. And their net worth like increased crazy. Like
Jeff Bezos, everybody was worried during the pandemic. Everybody was worried for Amazon because I think
all of a sudden they got a shortage.
Yeah, Amazon honestly saved I could speak that because you know I know people and I spoke to people and a lot of people told me like Amazon saved them from being on the street.
Yeah, a lot of people in the churches work for Amazon.
Because Amazon literally where like all you gotta do, like they was always hiring. And like
you don't need no degrees or special skills.
All you just need is your state ID and social. Right. You come in, do the drug test, and then boom, now, and then you're done.
But it's like slavery though.
Yeah, it is.
They lock you in the building. They take your phone.
Sometimes
they got some bus. FedEx is like that too. They put them on a cheese bus. They drive them out to Jersey. They take all their personal belongings.
But it depends on which Amazon you work though. It depends on which one you work. Well, we all know work is sometimes about favoritism, so you can find your way out from dealing with certain situations. But that's why Jeff Bezos got so rich, man. Because everybody was working at Amazon because they like, yo, we lost our job put us out. So the only job that really was was Amazon. Because mad people, you gotta stop. They had the Amazon, or what's that car that or
Tesla. But that's what they were saying too, because like these people came up so crazy, like Bezos and Elon, that like now like taxes are coming, like people be controlling the market with whatever they say.
Jeff Bezos don't pay taxes because at one point
Nah, he don't pay taxes.
He don't pay taxes because
his company doesn't pay taxes.
He told the government like, hey, I don't gotta pay taxes. I'm bringing in you mad money.
Yeah.
They working for my company and they gonna pay you.
He was definitely gonna pay, but then what he does, like he'll put out like a tweet or something that makes his stock dip crazy, so or he'll take money out so that way he could try to supplement a little bit. Like, you don't even
but he just that's his strategy so you don't have to pay. Yeah, he's like, look, I don't got that much money. You see my stock market.
Right.
But there's a lot of information that we don't know. Like recently, I was speaking to a real estate lawyer, and she put me on. She was telling me that there's a special bank account that you could create when you're selling real estate, where like you don't have to pay taxes on the money. Like say for example, I own a building, I'm selling it to. As a matter of fact, I sell it to my brother, right? But we both got shell companies, right? When I sell it to him, instead of like using the money put in a regular bank account, there's a special bank account, forget the name of it, but you could put the money in that bank account and say that it's being used for other real estate, and then you don't have to pay taxes on that as long as you buy real estate with that money within a year. But what they do is, since like we have shell companies, I could sell it to him, hold the money in taxes, and then he could let the property go into foreclosure, and I buy it back from him with the same money, and then I break them off on the side cash. That's what they've been doing. And a lawyer put me onto that. And
if you know, you know.
Nobody would.
Those are. You see everything that we're just talking about right now. See, the normal person in the community is not.
Some of the views they had like what is
right, and then a lot of what happened during the pandemic is that people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of people.
And
a lot of people quit because of the vaccine.
That too, right? But the ones now if you're quitting and you have other means, that's different, because I know a lot of people that retired.
Some people
during the pandemic. Right.
I know a guy who was
But this is what I'm saying though: is your mindset really right? If you're just quitting and you have a family to support, right? Sometimes or if you don't have a degree and you already know how difficult it is to find a job, and then you hear it. I'm just saying though, this is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna give you a real life example. I know a guy that worked in a hospital, right? I think he was a respiratory therapist or something like that. Based on his religious views and how he felt, he didn't want to take the vaccine. He had to leave his job, and now he's doing DoorDash. Mm-hmm. So imagine that you working in a hospital to the point where you're able to support multiple people in Haiti. Mm-hmm. You're able to build a school in Haiti, because he built a school in Haiti. All that, because that's how much bread he was making. Mm-hmm. Plus he was on call, because like when you work in a hospital, if you on call or you traveling nurse, you make even more money because of the overtime. It stacks up. Yeah. So imagine going from there to there just because of like how you feel, like based on that choice, based on like how you feel about the vaccine, based on your research, based on your religious views and things of that nature. And he wasn't the only one. Like it was hundreds, if not thousands of people.
He did DoorDash. But what I'm saying is, there's some.
But that's a big change in salary.
I know, but he still chose to make that decision. And he had that decision to make. There are those that don't even have that opportunity to make a decision like that. Look, or even to sit and to try to balance. Like, look, and I really don't. Based on everything that you just said, right? And to have a car, you need DoorDash, or you need a bike, or you need something to be doing DoorDash. You got to understand, like, there are people. At least he had the means for that to be an option. So he took the pay cut because he made he made the choice. During pandemic, most people didn't even have that.
Oh yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You're saying they didn't have no backup.
Oh, you're talking about jobs that just shut down, or people
you're talking about people that either there's people jobs just shut down. They didn't have no high school diploma, no nothing. They've been at this job for 20 years. That's all they know.
If you've been at a job for 20 years, you gotta put some of the blame on yourself.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Because 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. I think the pandemic for those that care.
A lot of people
really
live
think
paycheck to
and
paycheck,
Yes.
Nah, it's true you live paycheck. I understand people live paycheck to paycheck, but the one thing I know is like everybody be saying they don't really get money, but everybody gets money. Let's be honest. Everybody gets money. It's just
some more than others.
Yeah, some more than others. But look though, some people have less money and they can make it more. But all like
it's
you said,
managing your money, like you said.
Yeah, it's about mindset. It's about mindset because I know
teaching them financial literacy.
Right.
Exactly. Like I could personally say, like, because people be talking about, it's really how to utilize your money. Because I know a few people, like, you can give them a few $100 and they'll turn it into thousands. So it's like it really all depends on the individual. Like some people, they got more money, but they can't turn that more money into a bigger money, and somebody else with a little less turn in more. So I think really like you said about the 20 years, like that person, like if you in a business for 20 years, man, like you might live paycheck to paycheck, but you gotta you can't tell me you spent your whole 20 years where it was just paycheck to paycheck. You wasn't saving some or try to.
Some people don't make no investments,
right?
And some people.
And who's there to blame?
And some people don't. All right, I'm gonna give you a perfect example, right? Like, and I'm not gonna be more specific than what I have to. So I know a person. They've been working as a bus driver for over 25, maybe 30 years now. But they were able to invest. Like they bought real estate. They bought one, and once you get one, it's easy to get more because then you could just take out the second mortgage, or use the first one as leverage and get the second one, and then you refinance afterwards to like pay off the first one faster, and then you just got one left. And it's best to get 2 or 3 families. That way you have some kind of income coming in, and the tenants pay the mortgage for you. But then there's people that's been at a job for 20, 25 years, and they either still renting or they buy a condo, and a condo, there's no like real equity or income in that, because they got a management board and they set the price, and you got to get permission from them to even move around and do what you got to do. So imagine if you buy a 2-bedroom condo and you end up having 3-4 kids now, and now you're stuck in that condo because you got a mortgage and you still making the same amount, you living paycheck to paycheck, you kind of stuck, and now you looking at the other person with the multiple cribs and you feeling the way because of what they did. You understand what I'm saying?
Invested money.
They invested right, but like if you look at that, like you gotta look at your mistakes, man. That's what some people gotta realize. They try to bypass everything and just look at somebody else, but it's like, man, like you don't want that making the decision at the end of the day. Nobody put no gun to your head, like do this, do that. Now if somebody putting a gun to your head, then alright, that's a whole different sequence. But if nobody putting a gun to your head, man, like a lot of the mistakes, you guys just gotta look at yourself, really. Like, you can't be looking at the next man, ready to blame the next man for your mistake, really.
What you think, Adrian?
I mean, like you saying, a lot of people didn't really have any other backup or choices, especially during like that time of COVID. And like you said, people did have opportunity to come up, but it's just the way that like this world is. Like I see.
Before you finish. If you don't got backup, that means you got your priorities set up wrong. Because we all know. When we wake up, we don't know what's going to happen. Before we wake up the next day, we don't know what the next day brings us.
I see it was like a crazy stat when it was saying like the majority of people don't even have like a certain amount in a savings account. I forgot what it was, but it was like a crazy like low number. And it's like
they said most people don't even got $1,000.
Like you don't got $1,000 in your savings account. We're cold.
But it's like most people like not even
most
like,
people don't got. You know that, bro. You know most people don't got $1,000.
Nah, I know that.
And like even with stuff like
some people don't even got $100 right now.
They niggas got on E, bro.
Then like before, like even with the financial literacy stuff, like people didn't have access, like say invested in stocks or whatever. But now you got apps to help you. But even then, people still don't even know what they're doing. Really, like you say, people gambling and stuff like that to an extent. And then even these stock apps be corrupted because I see it firsthand. Like they see it start going crazy or whatever, like
shut it down.
just like what happened with the GameStop thing and the AMC when they went like Robinhood just decided to clip
I took
it.
a few L stock too.
Like, you know, like
Just like Cashapp. Cashapp switched up. They signed the deal with the IRS.
so it's like a whole system going on, and like what's that new thing they put in? Like if you get like what $500-$600 in your account, it's
yeah, bro. They try to even do that for Coinbase. Like if you try to, I see the thing where it's like they say, yo, if you try to pull off more than a certain money off your Coinbase, the government about to get notified knowing this is the amount of money you pull. Like, damn, government, mind your business. Mind your business, man.
Nah, because at one point they had a whole bunch of like contracts that they was sending. Like, do you agree to the new contract?
Yeah, I ain't agreeing to nothing.
I still haven't pressed agree on Robinhood app.
Like, I'm not agreeing to nothing. Even Google got the new January 5th update. Like, come on.
Yeah, they all got the update.
I gotta go to a whole different email now.
That's what happens. And people start pitting people against each other because like then I see stuff online like people. They see like what stuff's happening to government workers, like certain conditions and stuff, and people like, oh well, you got a government job, like why you getting mad for? Like you getting that government money? It's like, yo, like government job, like regular, it's like regular, it's just enough money for you to survive. Like, but like because people work in other jobs with like no job security, like yeah, it is like, yo, like you got a government job, go good, or like say federal job, like federal employees. I'm like, bro, like. Like the more you make, the more they tax you. So it's not like it's not like you make it more bread. Like
that's what people don't understand.
It's no difference between 60K and 100K a year. Like it's a finesse. Like it's the number looks nice on paper.
Yeah.
But that's not the exact number.
But then you get that check and it's like, yo, what happened to all the money? It's like, yo, like
you pay this, that.
It's like the only thing that increases how much the federal and state and city, because you know New York, so you get federal, state, and city tax. They take all of it from people and stuff like that. So. It's not really much to do. Like you gotta hustle. And like they said, well, what you need like 7 incomes to become a millionaire? It's like I'm still trying to find like number 2 and 3 incomes. Like it's crazy out here.
But at least you try. But the thing is, like
There's
you
buy
see how
companies that's already established for cheap money, and just try to like build up the company until it make enough money, and then sell it to someone else.
I mean, look,
that's what Elon did to get the startup.
I mean, look at Shaquille O'Neal for example. I bring him up for example. He been very smart. He been investing in a lot of companies, like Amazon for example. He
leveraged his fame to help build up franchises. So it's like he's licensing his likeness. Like, okay, I'm gonna put my face in your company, so I'm gonna use my popularity to bring your brand up. But you have to have something to bring to the table. Most niggas don't.
That's how you gotta, build yourself so you can bring something to the table.
Something simple like this platform. Like I built this platform, right? And now you see like certain people came and they sat at the table. But now you see politicians pulling up. You see business owners pulling up. You see like people of influence pulling up. And that's based on like what I have to leverage now. I built the platform. Okay, I could put you on. I can help put you in front of a certain number of people. Now what you gonna do for me now? So like that's where it's at. But
that's how it should be. But again, I don't think I have to bring back the mindset. I gotta bring back the mindset.
Right, I don't want to be around you.
I'm telling you, it doesn't. The mindset is so important with everything, like you said. During this pandemic, there was some monies that was out there where you had an opportunity for everybody.
That's why some people,
and in different forms, right? And based on your mindset, it would have determined how you moved, right? So, I graduated. I'm late in the game, but I used that time to graduate with my bachelor's during the pandemic, and now I'm starting grad school. Right? Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you, and I'm using myself as an example as to what I utilize. Yes, and I really pushed, and I really started to really work on building my program, Promise to Greatness, and being part of the community and modeling, what change looks like, because it's like. If your mindset was right, because they was giving child credit, tax credits, they was giving not just the PPP, there were different ways.
Giving out money,
the unemployment monies, they were giving it out in different ways.
Let's say if you had a kid by accident, you just came up.
I saw people shopping.
By accident.
I see people shopping instead.
Quarantine babies.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, quarantine babies, y'all should have came up because they was giving out mass stim. There was the stimmies where everybody get, and we all know the people that had the kids. Those stimmies. They was really getting the money.
Even to that effect, like what you were saying with the kids, like that's why a good business like to get into like daycare and stuff. Because even during the pandemic, like they was just giving them. Like if you had a daycare open, like they were just giving them grants, like $1,000 every month just for being open, because like of course it's hard, like people was home and was down, but there was just and of course
COVID was bare opportunity. It's just if your mindset was wrong, then you couldn't utilize the opportunity. But if you had the right mindset, trust me.
There was ways, not saying that everything would have been perfect, but absolutely.
But the thing
money became easier. But the pandemic.
But the thing is, the SBA always been there. Like the Small Business Association's been here the entire time.
It's just that
we just didn't know about it.
Right, and that's another thing too. When you don't know where the resources are, how can you take advantage?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's why networking is important. Because then a fellow member of wherever you're at can let you know. And that too, I guess, to go back to the ministry, that also is like where you can get networking. You get resources. Because you're comfortable to ask, hey, where did you get that from? Or you know what, this is what's going on with me, and to get feedback. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
because we started in the church, I ain't gonna lie. Like that's where I got my first platform from, preaching, and then it all built around there. So we can say that. The one good thing I give church credit for is bringing people together. Mm-hmm. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but at least it's a place where people could come together and exchange ideas. We use it in the wrong way. When I say we, I'm talking about people of color, because when I look at the way other people use it, like say for example, the synagogues, they're conducting business. And it's not only that, like their money that they're contributing over there, the rabbi controls it and he could give them loans from there. Like, that's how they keep the money in. And according to like their principles, they can't charge each other interest. So that's another way where it's like, they could charge other people interest that's not part of them. But if you look at the Torah, if you look at the book of Exodus and the book of Leviticus, they give them the laws. It's a book. I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
It's the Millionaire Principles of the Jews and how they use the Bible to build up wealth. And they said like one of the biggest misconceptions that the black church teaches, not the synagogue, not the Jews, but the black church teaches is that it's cool to be poor. It said if you look at the Jews, they all go for high paying positions. They know that it's okay for me. All right. A well-known, unknown secret is that like the Jewish women, the majority of them are on public assistance. And a lot of the Jewish men, they don't really work. Like some of them don't work, especially the Hasidic Jews, like the ones that dressed all in black and stuff like that. But there's those that are not Hasidic, because there's different kinds. I know there's the Ashkenazi Jews, there's the Hasidic Jews, and there's the Orthodox Jews. Yeah, the Orthodox Jews. And in the book it says that they go for the highest paying positions, and in the book it lists all the positions and the salaries of all the positions, and it goes down the list. It says when their children, their parents tell them, okay, focus in school, focus up, study, go to school, get a good paying job, just like our parents did. Like my parents put all 4 of us through college. Like 3 of us have our master's degrees, because they was like, all right, like my dad always like, why you want to stay poor? Like that doesn't make any sense. And that's the same thing that like the Jews teach their kids, like go for the high paying position, go for a lawyer. If you don't make it to a lawyer, then a doctor. If you're not a doctor, accountant. If you're not accountant, go for the next thing. Make as much money as you can and then help the ones that don't have it by biblical principles. So invest in those that don't have it, even if like it says it literally in the Bible. If a person around you falls off a little bit, the community's supposed to give them money to keep them up until they come back up and they give back to the community. Like one time I was in a Jewish community, there was a guy that walked up to me with a stack of money. He was like this in my face, and I'm like, yo, what's good with this guy? I'm like, yo, are you giving it to me? And I'm like, give it to me. Then he's like, and he walked off, and I was like, yo, what's going on? And then the Jewish guy I was with him, that's what they do in the synagogues. They walk up and down the aisle and they shake money. The people that don't have money, they're the ones that show money. The people that have money, they don't have to show it. And what does that remind you of? Us blacks. We gotta show off the money because we don't really have it like that. And the ones that do have it, they low key. They don't want to show it. They want to look like, I ain't got no money, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
You want to be frugal.
Yeah.
Money. There ain't no money here, man.
So it's like
got nothing.
a simple principle like the Bible could teach you how to manage your money. And it's like there's a lot of biblical principles and even general principles that we know that we're quick to ignore because we fall victim to the commercial principles that saying live fast, spend all your money, and don't worry about tomorrow.
Again, it brings me back to the mindset because of what you're saying. All really relies on the way you're thinking, on into how you're going to implement it. Because all those things are there, you know.
So if you guys could leave the people with like one last thought around what we said about the different things that's going on economically, socially, and even public safety, we can say, and even the recession, because we are in a recession. Don't get it twisted. The only difference is that they pump the economy full of fiat currency. Fiat meaning that this money's not backed up by nothing. It's just them printing out the money, printing it out, and eventually it's gonna bust. Because they've been signing bailouts since George W. Bush. So George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, and now Biden. Those are all bailouts, which is all loans. It's just that this time we got some of the bread out of pocket. All the other times we didn't get none of that bread.
They said, alright, we done ran up a bill. Alright, now we let y'all touch some money.
So what y'all think? Closing thoughts?
I mean, my closing thought, you know, work on your mindset, man. Like, if matter of fact, my main message, you know, like based on your mindset, be around people with the same mindset as you, or like trying to have similar goals, but you know, they don't got a similar mindset. You just buy a waste of time. You buy a waste of time, and you know, in life you'll get time back. You don't. We don't go backwards. You can only go forwards. Yeah, you can go backwards, like, you know, start doing things. It's not good, but you don't get the time back. So it's better, you know, work on your mindset. Work on your mindset. Your life will start getting better. Trust me. Don't think about the money first. Think about your mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like,
we don't get money, but we don't utilize it the same way.
Ace loves the camera.
Yeah, I'd say to piggyback on that, you know, just try to build something for yourself, like build knowledge, you know, like you're gonna try to increase your knowledge by reading, going back to school, or just going around people that know stuff, like, and then building for yourself, building that business or a way to like make yourself profitable or to like make yourself, you know, useful or somebody that can contribute to something, and then you build for yourself and you go from there, and then hopefully you never have those issues again.
For real. If you can't contribute your waste man or waste girl.
Waste gal.
Waste gal. We don't want no waste gal.
Closing thoughts?
My closing thought is to add on everything that you guys said, and also learn how to hold yourself accountable, right? Because once we learn how to hold ourselves accountable on how we play a part and where we're at in our lives or whatever's going on in our lives, not pointing the finger at the other person in the situation, right? Looking at ourselves, looking at me, and holding myself accountable. I think we all need to learn how to hold ourselves accountable and learn from whatever's going on, because see, it's tough to when people are telling you about what they see that you could work on, right? It's tough to hear it. Being able to hear it and hold yourself accountable for growth.
Yeah. First step to a better mindset, you gotta be able to handle construction facilities, man.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work for you, bro.
Right?
That's a fact. That's the first step of a different mindset. Handle construction criticism. Don't be ready to be like, yo, this, that, nah, man. They just try to help you get better.
Right, and it's a fact. You just gave a perfect example of why I'm saying, adding on to what you guys
those
said.
Those are the people you actually want to keep around you, not somebody that's going to hype you like, yeah.
Exactly. That's yesing you to death, right?
The people that think I can say the bad things about you, those are the people that really care.
Right. Taking the time out to let you know what they see, giving you the opportunity to work on you.
Yeah. My closing thought is like, use the most powerful weapon you have, which is your mind. Like, I remember like I was stuck in a spot, and what I did was like I was stuck in a spot where like I still got a young child, like and after my daughter was born, I said like I have to get more streams of income. Like one of the things I did was I rented my old room. I started driving for Uber. I actually went back to school. I did a master's. I could say like my income has increased significantly since graduating from Fordham. So I want to thank God for that. And I would just say like these different steps that you do like will help you and those around you in the future. Like, but you gotta like work hard, and then once you get what you've worked hard for, you have to protect it in order to keep it, because these people will try you.
That's a bad dude. Everybody want to taste it. Some will try to take you out, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Value what you have. Because
Yeah,
when we value what we have, we move a certain way to keep it.
Of course.
They say, the people know the price of anything, but the value of nothing.
Yeah, the price of everything but the value of nothing. Facts. So we thank you for watching. We thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching The Real Word. We close out with a prayer. Who would like to pray?
I pray I'll do this time.
Yes, okay.
Heavenly Father, thank you for being wake up this morning. Thank you for letting us have a wonderful day today. Thank you for this wonderful day service. Guide us, protect us, see each other forevermore and everlasting. Please watch us over for the rest of the week, and as long as we are alive, in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. So we thank you for watching.
See you next week.
Hoodies up, guns down. Good night.
Yeah.
It's the real word. It's the real